Josh Strickland from Smile FM, and because tonight is all about you, they told me to stay outside in the snow. But I did want to welcome you to the show tonight. It's going to be a great time. Thank you for coming, moms, daughters. This is going to be a great night for you, but also by being here tonight, you're supporting the ministry of Smile FM and making it possible for us to be able to do events like these for other moms and daughters. So again, thank you. Enjoy tonight. It will be memorable. And also remember tomorrow morning to listen to 90.9 and 99.9 Smile FM.
Well, hello. How are you, ladies? Are you excited to be here? Oh, that was so sleepy. Are you excited to be here? Come on, give it up. Yes. Okay, well, we're so excited that you guys are here. I love the jammies. I see a lot of jammies. I'm feeling it. But we're getting ready to start the show. But first, I want to invite moms. Take your phones out. Hold your phone up for me. And I want you guys to find us on Facebook, True Girl Official, or Instagram, True Girl Official. And I want you to like us or follow us. Because at intermission, we're going to have a raffle. And we're going to give away some free things. You guys like free stuff, right? So do that, Mom, so that you can enter yourself in that raffle. But other than that, are you guys ready to kick the show off?
Ashley, and this is my hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Well, I gotta say, we love partying in our PJs, and it looks like you do too. But we got talking backstage, and we can't quite decide how to say the word pajamas. I mean, hear me out. Is it the True Girl Pajama Party Tour? Or is it the True Girl Pajama Party Tour? So, okay, I think we already have a consensus, but let's take a quick poll just to find out. Who here says pajamas? And who says it the right way? Pajamas! Well, you can clearly see which side I'm on, and since I'm going with the microphone, I'm gonna say welcome to the True Girl Pajama Party Tour! I'm ready for some serious girl time tonight. Girl time in our jammies? I love that! How many of you girls are happiest to stay in your pajamas all day?
And how many of you are in your pajamas right now? My name's Abby. I'm from State College, Pennsylvania, and I gotta say, one of my favorite things about pajama parties is the snacks, especially those that are topped with cheese. I mean pizza with cheese, nachos with cheese, pretzels with cheese, Cheez-Its, Cheetos, cheese puffs. If it has cheese on it, I want it. Where are my girls at who love snacking at pajama parties? Now that's a lot of cheese, but the only thing cheesy about me is my jokes. What's up? My name is Stacy, and I'm coming to you from my hometown of Southfield, Michigan. And something I love doing at pajama parties is just laughing together with my friends. Like, I love getting all silly and cracking jokes. You guys want to hear one? Yeah! Okay, now you gotta listen up because it's kind of long, all right? Now, what's the difference between a girl in a ball gown on a bike and a girl in pajamas on a unicycle? What? A tire. A tire. Really, thank you, Abby, here all night. Oh, Stacy, I love you. Hi, everyone. My name's Casey. I'm from Lebanon, Ohio, and I attend Cedarville University. Yeah. So, let me tell you, ladies. One time, I dressed up for a pajama party by wearing a ball gown that I actually made myself out of a bed sheet. Check it out. Those are some fancy jammies if you ask me. I mean, I look good. Hey, they should have called her Slumber Ella. I mean, all she needed was some glass slippers. You are too much, Stacy. Hey girls, my name is Stephanie and I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. And I love spending time with my girls at pajama parties, but if there's a puppy in the room, well, it turns into a pajama party for me.
Steph, I thought you were allergic to puppies.
I am allergic to puppies, but look, they're just so cute and playful and cuddly. I even get allergies thinking about them. But are there any puppy lovers here tonight? Well, whether you love puppies or you like cracking jokes, you're here for the cheesy snacks, or you love dressing up in your fancy ball gowns, you are gonna have so much fun at this pajama party tonight. But first, I need to lay some ground rules, okay? In fact, tonight there's only one rule. Absolutely no pranks. I'm talking about prank calls. No fingers in the warm water. And moms, I'm looking at you now. No frozen bras. You know what I'm talking about. We gotta have each other's backs tonight, ladies. Wait, Ashley, there's still one more person they have to meet.
We're all here.
Okay, well, not a person, but a friend.
Oh, you're not gonna introduce them?
Yes, I am. So Casey brought a +1 with her on the tour bus this season. He is really cute, but here he is. He's pretty heavy. Okay, Stacey, you would just put right there.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Stephanie. There. This guy is the most fun to have a pajama party since, well, you know, every single night on the tour bus is a pajama party for us. I just had to bring him. He's such a hoot.
You keep saying that, but do you know how crazy you sound?
What's that, PJ Panda? Oh, man. Oh, he's so funny.
Oh, so he's funny, huh?
Casey, you're sounding crazy.
Listen, you guys just haven't taken the time to get to know him like I have. PJ Panda loves to dance, and we do it every single night at midnight. Oh, one of the best parts about pajama parties is staying up until midnight. Am I right? Yes. I have an idea. Let's all do that tonight. And then you guys would see for yourselves.
We won't even be here at midnight. How we gonna stay up?
Oh, well, I've told you guys before, I don't know how he does it, but PJ Panda just has a way of making midnight sneak up on me. I guess time really does fly when you're having fun.
Well, you know, it sounds like a lot of fun to me. An audience full of moms and daughters.
Yes.
Okay, so now that you know our names, we want to get to know yours. So do me a favor, on the count of 3, shout it out as loud as you can. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We're so excited that you're here tonight, and now it's your turn to share your favorite memory in your pajamas, all right? So now you don't have to have a slumber party to have a favorite memory in your PJs. It could have been that one time that you stayed in your pajamas all day long, or maybe you and your mom decided to be crazy and make pancakes for dinner. Whatever it is, I want you to turn to the person that you came with and tell them your favorite memory in your jammies. Ready? And go!
Strong, beautiful, and not good enough. Do I belong after all? There's It's 6:51 p.m. Edit time. Move closer to midnight. Error. Dance moves required. If you want to change the time, you gotta dance. Adequate. You can do better.
Y'all must have shared some awesome pajama party memories because we can hear you cheering and clapping.
Yes, we can. That's the kind of enthusiasm we like. You girls are on fire!
Yes, there is nothing low-key about this night. You guys are the bomb.com. Hey, so Stephanie and I were just talking backstage about something we love doing at pajama parties. Vegging out in front of the TV with our girls. I mean, it is one of those rare times that Dad gives up the remote, right?
Stacy, I got it. Okay.
Oh man, come on, this one's too small.
Okay, I'll wait for a bigger one.
I don't understand. It's not even one of those complicated remotes. The kind that have a remote to control the remote. I mean, usually stuff's right up.
Stacy.
Change the batteries.
Stacy.
Okay. Still the wrong one. This one's too big. This one's too big. That one's too small.
Stacy. This one, it's just right. Okay.
Are you ready, kids?
No, not him again.
Oh, she's so cute. Sorry. No.
Like to talk to tomatoes.
You're watching True Girl. This'll work.
It's time for your favorite game show, Pajama Rama! It's the game show you play in your pajamas. But this trivia show won't have you counting sheep. Because in this game, if you sniff, you lose. And now, she really needs no introduction. You know her from the Food Channel's famed game show, Meal or No Meal. To introduce this week's contestants, here's your host, Alice Truerare.
Welcome to another dazzling week of Pajama Rama! The trivia game show where you play in your pajamas. I'm your host, Alice Truerare. And sorry. I generally live up to my name. You've tuned in for a very exciting episode, and we have some extra special contestants. You might even recognize some of them because this week, our special contestants are Mamas in Pajamas! That's right, I'm going to send Stacy and Stephanie out to the audience to collect their players, but before they do, let's get one thing straight. Everyone in the room is a part of Pajama Rama, and if you can't decide who to root for, well, that's that's no problem, because we're gonna split you right down the middle. So, if you're on this side of the room, let's give a big cheer for Team Gummy Bear! Let's see if you can top that. Let's give a big hoot and a holler for Team Lollipop! And it's finally time to play Pajama Rama! That's right, folks. This week will be... Oh, wait, one pajama party minute, please. Hi. Hello. How are you? I'm great. Great, that's good. Wow. So, did you hear the, instructions? No. You're fine, you're fine. Just, we're looking for, mamas in, pajamas? Pajamas? You look great, honestly. You're fine. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. What are we gonna do? What to do? Slippers.
Attention TrueGirl TV viewers, this is a test of the emergency pajama system. For the next 30 seconds, this station will be testing the authenticity of contestants in Pajama-Rama the game show. This is only a test. Should this be a real emergency, TrueGirl officers would rush to the stage, immediately intervene, and attend to all pajama offenses with a proper course of action.
Anyways, I'll be asking you guys trivia only a mother could love, and that's because this week's topic is Mama Media! Mama Media, here I go again. My, how can I resist you? Yes, I've been broken hearted, blue from the day. Parted. Oh man. Look at me now. Will I ever learn? I don't know why, but sometimes I suddenly lose control. Like there's a fire within my soul. And do you think you've got problems? Did I mention my name was Alice Truereck? Anyways, where was I? Right, Mama Media! I'm gonna give you a bunch of clues about a popular mama in the media. She may be from TV, she may be from radio, she might even be an internet sensation. Whatever the case may be, this is one hot mama in the media, and it's your team's job to guess her name first. Now, there's only one rule. Wait until I finish the clue before you...
Oh, you can't just buzz it like that. She'll let you.
It's fine. Wait until I finish the clue before you buzz in. Yes, hit the buzzer after you hear this sound.
Take that media mama.
Let's try that all together. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Take that media mama.
If you hit the buzzer before you hear that sound, the opportunity for your team to guess that round's mama first, well, it goes to the other team. So be sure to wait for the happy sound before you buzz in, but don't wait too long, because you know what we say here in the game show business.
If you snooze, you lose.
So, without further ado, let's finally play Pajama Rama! It's hard to believe, but at the dawn of television, the whole family used to come and watch their favorite shows together. Let's hear a holler for the single screen home. That's right, folks, one single screen could serve the whole family. Imagine that. So let's go way back to when television was only two colors, black and white.
And the most breakfast in my soup.
Taco, Rice Krispies.
Okay, it's time for round one. Now remember to use your entire team, because some of these questions are honestly kind of difficult. And wait for the signal before you buzz in. So, without further ado, here's round one. Take it away, voiceover guy.
Round one. Our first mama in the media had 2 kids and was known for her crazy antics. She had a best friend who lived right beside her, and if you poop out at parties, she has just the answer for you in a little bottle.
Name that media mama. Shout it out if you know it, folks. Team Gummy Bear.
I love Lucy.
I love Lucy.
You poop on my happy people and their great big bottle of automated vitamin salt. That's Vita Vitamin.
Oh, I love Lucy. And the point for round one goes to Team Gummy Bear. Okay, it's time for round two. Our next mama comes from the year 2004. And we're gonna take a look at a new medium, animation. Sure, a guy named Walt Disney and his mouse get a lot of credit for this type of entertainment, but it was around way before he was. The first animated video was actually created in the year 1908 and didn't have the color or realism that we all enjoy today. But it's 2019, people!
I'm making waffles.
We're gonna be on TV. Everything is awesome.
I guess you can expect this round's mama in the media to be very colorful. Listen up, because here's your hint.
Round 2. There's more to this mom than meets the eye. She has 3 talented kids and a shocking secret life. Now, I may be stretching the truth here, but she could be the tallest woman in the world, if she needed to be. Oh yeah, and one elasta thing, she definitely doesn't believe in leaving saving the world to the guys.
Name that media mama.
You had that one, folks.
Make some noise, make some noise.
Miss Incredible. Wow, confidence. Mrs. Incredible! I think we're looking for something a little more specific. I'm afraid I have to give it to the other team. All right, a chance of redemption. Here we go.
Elastigirl.
Incredible. And the point for round two goes to Team Gummy Bear! The average house actually has 7 screens. And that does not include the tiny ones we carry around in our pockets like smartphones. We stopped asking, Wi-Fi? And we started asking, why? Of course I'm talking about the internet and social media.
Oh, surely!
Oppa Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Pardon me. It's time for round 3. Thank you.
Round 3. This media mom is known for her wildly infectious laugh. She tried out a toy, and the video went viral, making the interweb roar.
Make that media mama! Oh, Team Lollipop! I'm coming to you.
Chewbacca mask mom.
Specific. The Chewbacca Mask Mom! It's time for the last round of Pajama-Rama, which means it's your very last chance to gain points. You guys got this. Ready? Cable TV? That's so 2004. TiVo? Don't make me laugh. This next type of media is responsible for giving you your most favorite shows at your fingertips, and with it comes a brand new language of love that's given away when you're as good as family. No, not hugs. No, not words of affirmation. I'm talking about a different kind of words. Your Netflix passwords. So let's take a look at what's streaming now.
Now this is a story all about how my life. Okay, babies, just half an hour left.
Alright, it's your last chance to gain points. You got this. Welcome to round 4.
Round 4, final round. Our next media mom can be found streaming on Netflix nowadays, but she was first known as a TV sitcom daughter. She lived in San Francisco with her dad in a house full of uncles and sisters and cousins everywhere you look. Make that media.
Hold on now. DJ!
Listen to me, baby, it's important that you try and understand. I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover, I'll do anything.
Well, don't make any plans this afternoon because I'm throwing my annual end of summer, back to school, super fun barbecue 2016.
You got it, dude. And the point for round 4 goes to Team Lollipop! Okay, I'm sure by now you all have done the math and you realize that we have a tie. Thanks for that. So, let's let's try to break this with a good old-fashioned game of rock, paper, scissors between your two team captains! That's good. All right, you ladies ready? Take a deep breath. Here's how it's gonna work. I'm gonna say rock, paper, scissors, and when I say shoot, you throw your signs. Here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! One, still time! Come on! Here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Hold on. Are you guys okay? Let's try again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! This isn't scripted, guys. This is real. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! That was a well-deserved victory. So, Team Lollipop, let's take a look at what you've won. Thank you, Abigail. Let's give it up for Abigail! What a dress! Oh my. It looks like you have won 1 million kudos! Congratulations, welcome to City Jobbers, which is fantastic, fantastic. Mama, Sita, to take home tonight. Let's give it up for all of our mamas in pajamas! Come on! You are all winners, in my opinion, for real, and that's what matters. So thank you all and have a great night!
Wow, what a show! Tune in next time when our special contestants are a family of otters with a special talent you'll have to see to believe. The subject of next week's trivia will be significant otters. Get it? Significant otters. 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 Well, I better get otter here. Thanks for watching Pajama Rama, the game show on True Girl TV.
It's 7:53 p.m. Do the chicken dance this time.
Were you guys just doing the chicken dance? That is one episode of Pajama Rama that I have not seen. But there is a reason we took time to look at moms in the media. How many of you have seen the new Incredibles movie? And how many of you have seen Fuller House? All the media, Netflix, movies, music. Social media can be so much fun. But sometimes, I'm just gonna say this like it is, sometimes the media lies to us. Check out this photo and tell me if you know who it is.
It's actress and singer Zendaya talking on her cell phone, jumping in a car outside her hotel. This is her in real life. She looks pretty normal, right? In fact, she's adorable, a truly beautiful girl. But this photo was posted on a popular teen website with the caption, Zendaya after wisdom teeth removal. Yeah, that's what we all look like when we get our wisdom teeth taken. This website, known as a source of beauty advice for teens, used this photo after hairstylists and makeup artists spent hours on painting and perfecting her. Something most of us could probably never even afford. The actress was much more honest on her Instagram page that day. You wanna know what I think? I think she's brave, and I think she is beautiful. And I think that the media makes us work really hard to continually figure out what is real and what is a lie. I wanted to show you just how impossible the standard really is, so I let some of those hairstylists and makeup artists do whatever they wanted to me, and then they put my photo in a filter and editing program so you can see just how untruthful these images are. Fake eyelashes, plumped up lips. They even changed the shape of my eyes. That girl is nothing like me. The real me does not really hang out on the cover of magazines. The real me hangs out with my mom and my sisters. This is us in New York City for a girls' weekend. The real me does not care one bit about how I look on the soccer field. As long as my hair is pulled up out of my face, I can play my hardest and have fun. The real me cares most about how I show my love and my kindness and my compassion to the people around me. This is me in Zambia. I've been there twice on missions trips to work with street kids because I know that the love I show them will last way longer than any lipstick or mascara would. And for the record, because I know you're wondering, this is how I look when I get my wisdom teeth. You may look at all these photos of me in real life and wonder why I showed you them. But the truth is, if you see enough lies about beauty, you'll start to believe them. There's some really great research out there that shows that you and I are really impacted by the photos and the videos we see of other women in the media. When we continuously see images of people who are perfected beyond what is even possibly real, well, it can make us feel pretty bad about ourselves. And like we need to fix ourselves. So it's up to us to stop focusing on what the world says is beautiful and to start focusing on what is really true about us.
So girls, that's why your mom sometimes says no when you want to watch a certain show on Netflix or listen to a song that's really popular or to get a social media account. She doesn't want you to face too many confusing messages. Now, we don't really like when our mom says no though, right? At least I know I don't. Do you guys like when your mom says no? That's what I thought. But here's the thing, she gets it. Your mom has faced the same pressure to look a certain way, act a certain way, believe a certain way. Am I right, moms? Am I telling the truth? Yes. It takes so much wisdom to see the filters on photos and the way they're changed and not accurate. And it can be really tough to figure out which ones are the truth and which ones are lies. And I can just speak for myself. I have a hard enough time feeling good about myself without Photoshop and filters making me feel even worse. Now, maybe you're feeling insecure about how you look right now. I want you to know that every girl in the entire world sometimes feels that same way. Sometimes I still get really insecure about my body. No beauty potion, brand name pair of jeans, or new headband from Claire's ever made me feel any better about myself. I did not need an Instagram filter. I needed a truth filter. And every true girl has one. And tonight, we're hoping to help you get yours on. So will you stand up with me and let's read our key Bible verse. Now this verse tells us the truth about how God made us. For you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Psalm 139, 13 through 14. Awesome, you can go ahead and have a seat. Now we're going to study that verse a whole lot more tonight, but for now, know this. There is only one thing that can set you free from whatever makes you feel bad, and it's truth. And the truth about how you girls look is this. You ready? Hashtag no filter needed. You girls are perfect the way you are. So it's up to us to decide if we're going to look at ourselves through the filters and what the world is telling us, or if we're going to choose to rely on God's truth and what He says, right?
Yes, those are such awesome truths, Stacy. But I gotta admit, it's a lot to digest.
Maybe you're just a little hungry.
Oh, I am actually, and that's why I brought this.
What is that?
Popcorn.
Look how small that thing is.
Well, actually, it's a medium, but for the price that I paid for it, you would have thought it'd be a jumbo.
That's not gonna work. We need something bigger.
I totally agree, but what?
I don't know, something like that.
No
that is
Thanks, Stuffy. All right, everybody, get up on your feet. It's time for a mother-daughter game. Here's how our little snack break is gonna go. It's the moms. Are you out there, moms?
Against the daughters, let me hear you make some noise, make some noise.
Wow. Okay, moms, it's your job to get as many popcorn pieces as you can to that side of the room.
And girls, you want to get as many as you can to that side of the room. You can do it. I believe you. You got this one in the bag. I'm just trying to butter you up a little bit.
Oh, now that's corny. Seriously though, Stacy and I, we'll be like the referees. We're gonna keep score of the game. So you can just call us your popcorn kernels. Alright, but for real, here are the rules. There'll be no kicking, scratching, biting. Moms, I'm talking to you. Oh, and while I'm at it, moms, you do have the unfair advantage of all that practice of constantly cleaning up after your family's messes every single day. So, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to even the playing field a little. So on the count of 3, I want all the mamas to sit down. That's right, down you go. You've been playing this entire game on your tushy. All right, you ready, Stace? 1, 2, 3, release the popcorn.
to your seats and sit with your mom or the adult that you came with because we're gonna have some girl talk. Some of you are looking at me like I look kind of funny. Oh, that's right, I'm wearing this big fluffy robe because I realized earlier I was the only one up here that wasn't wearing jammies. So I dug around backstage and I found this, and well, it's perfect because I wanted to show you guys what I looked like at a lot of the slumber parties that I went to when I was your age. See, I'd show up feeling pretty good about myself. And then by the time I'd leave, I'd feel like this. Covered in these sticky feelings. Do any of the moms in the audience know what I'm talking about? See, like this one, Unlovable. When I was younger, I thought that everyone wanted to be my friend. That if I was nice enough to them, well, then they'd be nice too. And so it would really hurt my feelings when I'd get left out of things. Get left out of an inside joke that everyone would be laughing about, and I wouldn't really get it. Or worse yet, there were parties I wouldn't even be invited to in the first place. And that made me feel kind of unlovable at times. Or this one. Can you read this one? It says, "It's stupid." We're gonna whisper that, because there's moms in the room. But don't worry, we're saying it for educational purposes tonight. My sister and I weren't allowed to say stupid growing up. It was a bad word in our house, but just because we weren't allowed to say it doesn't mean I never felt that way. See, anyone who's met my sister knows that she's way smarter than me in math and science. So smart that she's actually a science teacher. Yeah, I wanted just one subject where I was the best. One subject that I could teach someday. And no matter how hard I tried, it always just seemed like she was smarter. And that could make me feel kind of stupid. Or this one. Ugly. When I was at slumber parties and my girlfriends would wash their faces at night, their skin would be clean and clear and sparkly. I mean, it looked like one of those Dove soap commercials where the water would just splash against their skin. And my skin would get all splotchy and red and covered in zits, and it still is that way. And that can make me feel kind of gross. Ugly. Unlovable. Stupid. I know that I might be alone up here on this stage, but I know I'm not alone in this. I know I'm not the only one here tonight who's ever felt this way, right? I mean, I bet if you girls looked around long enough, just up and down your aisle, maybe across the aisle, you would see somebody that you think looks smarter than you. Or maybe she's taller than you are. So you think she's prettier than you. Whatever it is, we've all had these bad thoughts about ourselves sometimes. But here's the problem. When we compare ourselves to others, when we think these thoughts over and over again and again, they start to stick to us like these sticky feelings on my robe. And then they never seem to go away. That's pretty bad, isn't it? I can feel pretty bad. But I have some good news for you tonight. And the good news is this. There is one thing that's more powerful than all of these sticky feelings that we feel. And that is God's truth. God's truth is more powerful than any lie that we may be believing about who we are. And tonight we are going to talk about God's truth for each and every one of us. Because God has an opinion about you. God can see you. And we can find out what he has to say by reading the Bible. But in order to know his opinion, we have to actually open it up and read what it says. We have to actually read the pages of this book for our lives to discover his truth. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to read verses from the Bible. In fact, you are going to read them to me. And you're going to help me rip off all of these lies and sticky feelings, okay? So let's get started with this one, Unlovable. When I feel this way, I kind of just want to go to my room, be left alone, shut the door, which is me, myself, and my favorite stuffed animal, which just happens to be an adorable red-eyed tree frog named Cha-Cha. But no matter how long I snuggle him and hold him, it doesn't really make me feel all that much better. So let's see what God has to say about feeling unlovable. Would you read this verse with me? I have loved you with an everlasting love. With unfailing love, I have drawn you to myself. Jeremiah 31, verse 3b. Great job, ladies. That verse tells us that God loves us. His love is everlasting. His love is never ending. And you know what? I think that sometimes, well, I know that God knew that sometimes I would feel like hiding in my room and being left all alone. Because in that verse, it says that he wants to draw me near. He's not going to leave me alone in my bedroom. No, he's going to call me out. Or he's going to come in to be with me. Because God wants to be close to me. God wants to be close to you. Because we are loved by God. And that feels so much better. So I'm ready for the next one. Stupid. I'll do that one next. The bad word. Whenever I felt that way, I'd just be reminded of the fact that I am not the smartest person I know. In fact, I am definitely not the most talented person in this room. Did you see those girls singing up here earlier? So if that's a fact, how could God's word possibly make me feel better about this? Well, let's read his truth and find out. Read with me. My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9a. That verse is telling us that we don't have to be the smartest girl in any subject. We don't have to be the smartest or the most talented, because God is not asking us to be the best. God is asking us to try our best, and he'll do the rest. Because our source of strength does not come from how smart we are. It doesn't come from how talented we are. Our source of strength comes from God. You and I are empowered by God. And that feels good. So now I'm ready for this big, bad, ugly one. But I need you guys to stand up on your feet because we are going to read our theme verse for the evening. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. Psalm 139, verses 13 to 14. Awesome, you guys can take a seat. Now in that verse, King David is praising God for how fearfully and wonderfully made he is. But have you ever stopped to consider what he means by fearfully? I mean, are we supposed to be afraid of the way that God made us? Look in the mirror and go, oh! I promise, none of you look too scary tonight. No, this type of fear is not an afraid of spiders kind of fear. Ugh, those are nasty. Or even an afraid I'm not going to pass that math test kind of fear. Or an afraid of the dark kind of fear. No, this fear is that feeling that you get when you stand at the edge of the ocean and you look out over the massive expanse of water and you can hear the sound of the rushing waves and feel the salty spray on your face. It's that feeling of awe and wonder. It's a type of fear that says, wow, God, look at what you can do. And that is how King David felt when he looked at himself in the mirror. He was reminded of the incredible things that God could do. And this was before King David even had modern day science to tell him just how incredible the human body really is. I'm going to take you to science class now. I'm going to try to be your teacher, okay? Check this out. This is a blastocyst. I know any homeschool moms in the audience are geeking out that I know that word. And my sister's here tonight, so do I get an A+? This is a blastocyst. This is how you and I started off. Now that is a very big word for a very tiny clump of cells. In fact, we were so small that we couldn't even be seen with the naked eye. We were the size of a dust speck. But then God reached down and he started knitting you together in your mother's womb. Knitting. That is the word that the Bible uses. Knitting. So let me introduce you to his thread. The moment we were born, we had 60,000 miles of impossibly strong, but incredibly thin and delicate blood vessels running through our bodies. And by the time you were an adult, you had 100,000 miles of blood vessels. Girls, that is enough to wrap around the world 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And that's all inside of you. With every breath that you take, oxygen flows to every cell in your body through your blood. It is an engineering feat so incredible that it can't be replicated. And believe me, scientists have tried. For the past 20 years, doctors have wanted to help people with broken blood vessels by attempting to create new ones. And the closest that they've gotten is by taking human cells and skin and literally knitting them together. Our lives hang on an incredibly miraculous woven thread. You and I are fearfully and wonderfully made. And don't even get me started on the word wonderful. I mean, who here has tried knitting? Pretty good, yeah, a few hands. Okay, so you know that knitting is a work of art, right? I mean, if you lose count, if you lose concentration, what you're knitting, maybe that cute hat with the pom-pom on top, will end up looking more like a floppy pancake with a hole in it. You have to pay attention. You can't lose a stitch. But it wasn't like that when God created us. He wasn't, knitting along and went, I guess I'll call that one a Stacy. Or whoops, that's a Stephanie. No, each stitch was intentional. He didn't lose count. He planned and purposed each detail about your life. What family you would be born into. The color of your eyes. The color of your hair. The texture of your hair, whether it's curly and you wish it were straight, or it's straight and you wish it were curly. That was all God. Where he painted each freckle on your face. The way that your nose crinkles when you smile. The sound of your laughter. Your sense of humor. Your personality. Each one of those details was precisely planned by God. You don't have to look like every famous Instagram model or celebrity. You were created to be you. To be the real you. And that doesn't come from looking outward at others and comparing yourselves to them. That doesn't even come from looking inward. It comes from looking upward. And knowing that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. This lie, ugly, it's gotta go. Because I am fearfully and wonderfully me, and you are fearfully and wonderfully you. But do you believe that tonight? Because I can stand up here and I can say it, but do you believe it for yourself? Or are you still too busy thinking that you're too tall or too short, too fat or too thin, that you have a weird sense of humor, or you learn differently than others? Are you so busy comparing yourself to other people that you just feel bad about yourself and miss out on the unique things that make you different? The unique things that make you you. Because girlfriends, it's your choice. And we all have to make that choice. And I hope that you will choose to look upward, and that you'll choose God's truth for yourself instead of these sticky feelings and lies. So I'm going to ask you a question tonight, okay? And I want you to be really honest with yourself, and I want you to answer this one question. What lie are you believing? What sticky feeling are you feeling tonight? As our True Girl worship team comes and sings over you, I want you to answer this question. Listen to this song and be honest with yourself. What lie are you believing about who you are?
Yourself to start to find you. Put your makeup on to cover up the scars you hate, but you are beautiful the way you are.
His truth. Keep your head down until you feel like you and God have had a good talk. When you feel like you and God have had a good talk, you can open your eyes, but being as quiet as you can, almost like you're still praying. I want you to slip out into the aisle and find one of our friends with the buckets. They have a gift to give you. And I want you to take this gift as a reminder of the conversation that you just had with God, as a reminder to believe His truth for your life instead of the lies. And then mamas, I'm going to talk to you for a minute. When your daughter comes back, or maybe the girl that you came with tonight, I have an assignment for you, okay? I want you to ask her about that lie. And I don't want you to just leave it there. Because any time that we uproot a lie in our lives, we need to replace it with God's truth. We know that to be true in our own lives, and it's true for them too. So take this as an opportunity to speak a word of encouragement. Maybe you have a Bible verse that you can share with her, but do not let this moment pass, because mamas, I'm going to tell you this. She's looking up to you. And she's going to believe this truth for her life when she sees that you've believed it too. This is a message for you tonight as well. Take this moment and pray down the heavens over her life so she can walk in truth. Give you a moment to have that conversation. For creating each and every one of us unique. Lord, I thank you for speaking your truth to these girls tonight. For their mamas that brought them here, Lord. For the adults in their life that wanted them to hear your truth for them. Lord, I pray that these girls would walk in your truth and look to you to really know who they are and whose they are. Lord, we belong to you and we love you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Stacy. Yeah.
Do you guys like free stuff? You want something free? Free pillowcase.
chance to win a True Girl Bible verse necklace for your daughter. Now, if you don't win one, it's cool, chill out, because we got them at the resource table. But if you hear your name, make some noise so that I know you're here, and then come up and get your necklace, all right? I have Paola Diaz. Yeah, Paola. Congratulations. How about Rebecca Bosma? Rebecca? Yeah, okay. Congrats. And how about Beth Lane? Yeah, Beth. Congratulations, ladies. And if the rest of us, can we turn our attention to the True Girl TV to check out a video about our True Girl Nation ministry and all that God is doing through it.
The highest risk of raising daughters in the Bronx, besides the influence of drugs and alcohol, is that promiscuous lifestyle. Because there's not a lot of you are valuable. It's easy to get caught up in I have to do what everybody else is doing. I have to fit in. I have to be a part of the crowd. And I made up in my mind that I was going to hold on to Proverbs 22:6 because my children were not going to be teenage vagabonds inside the house of God. And that became the mission.
The place where I live doesn't really look like an at-risk community, but I wasn't deluded. I knew that my daughters were at risk, like all daughters are at risk. I mean, take for example the fact that the average tween girl today scores as high on anxiety tests as those who were admitted for inpatient treatment in the year 1956. But we act like it's just normal. It's not normal, and it's not okay. And it all can be linked to the books girls are reading, the music they're listening to, social media, and the beauty and fashion products being marketed at them. Something had to be done. So I started creating books just for tween girls that would reduce the risk. And I started creating music that was age appropriate and would help them to understand their value. And that eventually led to an event for moms and daughters.
I found out True Girl did these pajama party tours, so I figured we could be the first set of little girls from the Bronx. We're gonna raise some money because we have to go to one of these tours. And I was looking and the tours were in Miami, they were in PA. Why does an awesome tour to help little girls, why is it not coming to New York City?
I was praying one day about how to mobilize moms so that we could work together to create a safer culture for our daughters. And as I was praying, I had this vision in my mind of a tall brick building, and I sensed in my spirit that it was New York City. And I was immediately struck with the thought that we had never been to the inner city with our work, and therefore we were not reaching the most at-risk girls in our nation. I started telling moms and daughters like you about my heart, what God was doing in my heart, that I felt like we needed to go do free outreach events and that every mom and daughter needed to leave with a bag of free resources. Well, all I really wanted was prayer, but you started putting money in my hands. Before I knew it, we had the funding for our first outreach event and a location in the Bronx. But we didn't know how to run a marketing campaign in the city. Because 1 week out, it looked like no one was going to be at that first outreach event.
God just started. I believe he used Zaria, and he's like, get a Facebook account. And so I got the account, and she's like, Mommy, friend Dinah Gresh.
Now, I don't very often post my prayer requests on social media, but sometimes a girl gets desperate.
And it was like, praying for the little girls in the Bronx on Facebook. My heart was racing. I'm like, this can't be happening. Like, they're not really trying to come to the Bronx. I think I messaged or something. I'm a mom in the Bronx. This is my phone number. But then the phone rings. I said, Sonia, Dinah Gresh is on the phone. And it's like, everything stopped. I was like, well, what can I do? Promote the flyer. And I printed as many as I could print from that link. And I just let it rip. I was so excited. Yeah.
When it was all said and done, our first outreach event was just blocks away from Danette's apartment complex in the Bronx. She had literally prayed us into the city, and she made sure that that event was full of moms and daughters who needed to hear the truth. We prayed with girls who had been abused, and we prayed with moms who wanted to write a new legacy for their families.
But I felt like God brought you here for me, for my girls, and for those that were connected to us.
Through Danette's prayer and example, True Girl Nation was born. And I had a lot of confidence that these free outreach events and the books we left behind would impact the daughters. But I was not prepared to see how they would heal the hearts of mothers.
I was never able to look at myself as beautiful. But the first page just struck a chord in me and the tears started flowing. It taught me that I was a masterpiece created by God. And I couldn't tell that to my daughters until I could be able to tell it to myself. Personally, I will say that you came not wanting to take from me, but you came and you gave to me. And a lot of times as mothers, struggling mothers, we feel like we're in a place by ourselves. And God is saying, I have given you a new family. You have a new sister. As I have gained a sister, I'm going to become a sister to somebody else. And that's what we should all be, sisters to each other.
God heard Danette's prayers. It's a powerful story. Because of one woman's prayers, hundreds of moms and daughters all across New York City were able to laugh together and learn together and grow closer to each other and closer to Jesus. There are hundreds of moms out there just like Danette, but we can't be an answer to their prayers. We can't bring our resources and our events. We can't help them without your help. And so tonight, we're asking for your help. By giving as little as $20 a month, you can help moms and daughters grow closer to each other and closer to Jesus in cities like yours or in at-risk communities like the Bronx or the Dominican Republic. Just a few weeks ago, we had our last outreach event in El Centro, California, which is at the border of Mexico. And at that event, 55 girls accepted Jesus. It was amazing. Yeah. Now, we want to make it easy for you to join us in this mission. And so in your program, you will find a slip of paper. And if you could, grab it and hold it up for me over your head so I can see that you're with me. Can you find this slip of paper? Awesome. Yeah, wave it around. That girl in the back knows. Yeah, there we go. So if you fill out this paper with the amount that you would like to give and bring it to us at the True Girl Nation booth in the lobby, we have some gifts for you to show us just how thankful we are for your monthly partnership. We have this tote bag and a book for you to choose from out of Dana's True Girl collection. We also have a super pass that we'll be sending you that'll get you in and out of all of our events, including the Born to Be Brave events, which are for any of the young men in your life. You'll also get a backstage tour and meet the cast right after the show. All this to show you just how thankful we are to have you partner with us. So I want to give you a little bit of time to fill out this paper. And as you do, there'll be some pictures on the screen that'll show you our work in at-risk communities. You'll also hear a song from our new True Girl Nation CD. During this time, there'll be some buckets being passed around for a one-time donation as well. Thank you so much.
We will try and hide it.
answer to so many mama's prayers tonight. We hope to see some of you at the True Girl Nation booth with those papers filled out. But be back here in 20 minutes because we're going to have a brief intermission, and in 20 minutes we'll have the second half of the show with some girls from the audience in our fashion show, so you won't want to miss it. Thank you.
watching the audience take their seats.
Oh, why don't you say something? Here you go. So cute. Look, she's walking down the aisle. Look at that onesie. I love it. Hi, girl.
Hey, we gotta go get ready for the second half.
It's 8:45 p.m. What is the dance the kids are doing these days? Oh yes, the floss.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Break it down.
Well, it sounds like you girls are having a lot of fun out here. But you know what I think is fun? Fashion! So let's talk about it. I mean, you can stay on top of trends, or you might think trends are crazy. Maybe you like to get sassy with the skirts, playful with patterns, or you might like to keep it simple with a t-shirt and jeans, am I right? But what does God have to say about fashion? Let's take a look. And I want women to be modest in their appearance. They should wear decent and appropriate clothing and not draw attention to themselves by the way they fix their hair or by wearing gold or pearls or expensive clothes. For women who claim to be devoted to God should make themselves attractive by the good things they do. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 10 and 11. And what these verses are saying is that dressing our hearts is way more important than dressing our bodies. But what these verses are not saying is that we can't have fun with fashion. I mean, look at me. I have 5 layers of clothes on, a face full of makeup, and I even curled my hair, and I hope you think it's cute. But I hope that the images of our hair, our makeup, and our outfits are not the things that you remember tonight, but that you would see Jesus in our hearts, that you would see him through our kindness, our love, and our friendship. I mean, think about it with me. Beauty fades, but when our hearts are pursuing Jesus, he makes our hearts more like him. He makes them new every single day, and that's beauty. But we are talking about fashion, and there are just some things that are more appropriate than others. And by appropriate, I mean it's okay. Can you girls say that with me at the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. It's okay. Is it okay to wear your pink party dress to go swimming? No. Let's try another one. Is it okay to wear your pajamas to church on Sunday morning? Absolutely not. People would think you overslept and are not excited to be there. But is it okay to wear your pajamas to a pajama party? You see, that is how you show people that you are excited to be there. There's a time and a place for everything. And that's why we want to be appropriate. We don't want anything to distract anyone from seeing how beautiful your heart truly is.
So, how do we try to stay appropriate from day to day? Well, I'm thinking we should play a game. You guys want to play a game? Okay, now it's a classic pajama party game, but you gotta guess what it is.
What is it?
You really want to know?
Yeah. Oh, fun.
I know, right?
Oh, come on, Steffi, you gotta tell me too.
Okay.
Oh, groovy.
Okay, don't leave me out. Okay. I'll tell the audience. Go for it. We're playing Smelly Gnome.
What? No, that is not what I said. I said we are playing Jelly Scone.
No, I said, Lassie, come home. What?
That is not what I said. I said telephone. Hello. Now, this is a game. I'm trying to keep the message straight, even as it passes from person to person. You might know it as Whisper Down the Lane if you were born before light technology, but this is the biggest pajama party we've ever played it at, so let's see how it goes, all right? Now, here's how it works. At the end of your aisle is a clue card with a secret message on it. Now, the person at the end of your row can go ahead and grab it, but do not look at it yet, okay?
Okay, come on, Stacy. You know you can tell me what the clue card says.
You gotta wait to find out.
Oh, you're a good secret keeper, girl.
Okay, now your row is your team. Everyone has to play Whisper Down the Aisle to pass along the secret message. Now there is only one rule in this game, all right? If you're the last one in your row to get the message, you have to keep it a secret until we have you shout it out, okay? So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whisper. On the count of 3, shout it out. 1, 2, 3. Smushy pear, do not grow. Come on, let's say it together, all right? 1, 2, 3. True Fashion Show. Guys, we are not the models of the fashion show. What? Our models are a few brave and beautiful girls from the audience just like you. Now, this fashion show is going to have everyone saying it's okay because we went into this season's fashion determined to survive every danger zone. So here it is, the True Girl, Truth or Dare Fashion Show!
Our first test is called the Mirror Test. It asks the question, how short is too short? So everyone stand up. So you can sit down crisscross applesauce. Now, when you buy a new pair of shorts or a skirt, sit in front of a full-length mirror, like this. Now, look in the mirror. What do you see? If you can see too much thigh or your panties, guess what? So can everyone else. Two things. One, it's not that your body is bad or shameful. You are a wonderful masterpiece created by God, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. This is just about your clothes. It's about what is appropriate. And two, a true girl doesn't obsess over problems, she solves them. So let me give you a few tips on how to pass this test before you even take it. Today's skirts are about extremes. So, go for extremely long or extremely full, but pass on extremely short. And when it comes to buying shorts, keep looking and looking And lucky. After all, it means more mother-daughter time. Now, come on.
Yes. All right, everyone. Now stand up and stay standing because it's time for the raise and price test. All right. Imagine with me. You're totally going forward in worship with your hands lifted and your arms fully extended. Now, take a look at the person you came with, and if you see any, tell me. You have my permission to poke them. All right. You can put your hands down. Now, even if you don't worship with your hands all the way up in the air, which is totally fine, imagine all the things you do every day that cause you to lift them up. Our solution is not to say no to that cute crop top, but instead go for layers. Try taking a longer shirt and putting it on underneath the shorter one. Our secret weapon is the ribbed tank top. Find one that's long and cute and can be tucked in under your cool and trendy shirt.
Okay, now our last test is a bit of a doozy, so everybody do this. Take a deep breath in, let it out. Because girls, we gotta talk about something, all right? Now, we are women, right? Yeah. And we have breasts. Now, for some of us, it's more of a mountain, valley, mountain situation. For others, it's hill, valley, hill. And I do understand that some still had a Great Plains, right? Don't worry, I promise you girls, those hills are alive. But have you ever noticed that some girls wear their shirts so tight? Like, ask me how tight. Say, how tight are they, Stacy? How tight are they, Stacy? I'm glad you asked. Some girls wear their shirts so tight that a shirt that should read, girls are awesome, instead reads, girls are awesome. I mean, it's crying out, it's so tight, you feel me? Do not be that girl. Our Spring Valley test helps you determine if your shirt is too tight. So take the tips of your fingers, please, and place them in your valley in the middle of your chest. Now, with everyone looking down into their own valley, please. On the count of 3, I'm gonna ask you to release. And if your shirt springs back so fast that it could be a small smart trampoline, you have failed our little test, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, release. We good? Anybody who's an eye, we all right? Okay. If you fail, here's the solution. Buy based on fit, not size. If you don't like the size you gotta wear, buy a Sharpie, cross it out, and give yourself a brand new size. Like size totally incredible and cute or something like that, all right? But give it up for our mom one more time. Is that cute? Give it up one more time. Give it up one more time.
that you came with because we're going to have a little time for some girl talk. I have a question for you first, though. Who here's having fun tonight? I am having so much fun, and you know, the fun doesn't have to end here because we have an online Bible study for moms and girls your age that'll be happening this spring, and you can join us online. There's information in your program. And I love these Bible studies because they are so much fun, but they're serious too, because we are seriously in love with Jesus. And in these Bible studies, we give girls the opportunity to share freedom stories. Freedom stories are stories about how the truth, God's truth, has set them free from a lie that they've been believing, or a sticky feeling that they've been feeling, or even a sin in their life. In fact, I love these freedom stories so much that I actually brought one for you to listen to tonight. Let's take a listen.
Dear True Girl, a lie I believed was, I'm not popular or just enough to be in the friend group. I talked to my mom about it and it helped, but after reading this book, it helped me so much more. The book also helped me decide that I am ready to be baptized, and I also did the prayer that let God into my heart and life. I talked to my mom, and she was really happy. Thank you, Ella.
That makes me so happy hearing Ella share her freedom story. It makes me so happy that our resources helped her overcome a lie that she'd been believing. But what makes me even happier when I listen to that is that Ella knew how to become a Christian. That she was planning to be baptized, that she was following Jesus. Because you see, when Dana wrote the book, Wise Girls Believe in the Truth That Sets Them Free, she discovered a big lie in our churches today. She sent out a survey to 1,500 church-going girls a lot like you. And she asked them a ton of questions, and when the survey returned, she found a big lie. And the lie was that 22% of girls who claimed to be Christian didn't actually know how to become one. They said things like, I'm a Christian because I go to church every Sunday. Or I'm a Christian because my parents are. Or I'm a Christian because I've always been one. Uh-oh. Those are all lies. I mean, going to church every Sunday is awesome. You learn a lot about Jesus, but that doesn't make you a Christian. And if your parents are Christians, that's really cool. I bet you learn a lot of stuff from them, but that doesn't make you one. And it's impossible to have been a Christian your entire life, so that leaves us with a question. How do you become a Christian? And I don't want anyone walking out those doors tonight without knowing the true answer to that question. So to discover that answer, we're going to go to our source of truth. What's our source of truth? The Bible, that's right. We're going to open the pages one more time, and I'm going to have you read some verses to me from the Bible. I want you to stand up on your feet, and we're going to read this verse together. It's one that you might know by heart, but we're going to read the version on the screen just to make sure that we're all on the same page. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. John 3:16. That was beautiful. Ladies can take a seat. Now that verse tells us amazing things. It tells us that God loves us. It tells us that he loves us so much that he did something about it. That he sent his Son to this world. And why did Jesus have to come to die? And why did Jesus have to die? For our sins. Our sins are anything bad that we do. Anytime you disobey God, it could be being mean to your siblings, or cheating on a test, or having a bad thought. Humor me. Raise your hand if you have ever sinned. That's right, every hand should be up. Now, how did I know everyone would raise their hand? I mean, no one really wants to admit that they're bad, right? But I knew every hand would go up because the Bible tells us in Romans that all have sinned. And you might think, well, that's not really nice. Like, why does the Bible tell us that? us about our sin, so we just sit around feeling bad. Like, oh, I'm a sinner, I do bad things, and we just sit around feeling bad about it. No, God tells us about our sin because he does not like what it does to us. Our sin separates us from God. Our sin separates us from him, and we have such a loving God that he was determined to make that right. Our sin separates us from him, and it separates us from others. Like, okay, let me tell you a story, just to make sure we get it. I'll tell you an embarrassing moment from my own life. So, in the not-so-distant past, my parents asked me to dog sit for them when they went away. And so I went over to their house to dog sit and to watch the house where they were gone. And my mom turned to me, she said, Ashley, whatever you do not let the dog in the living room because she's just a puppy and she's not potty trained yet. And so I'm like, okay, Mom, you're being really paranoid. Like, I know how to do this. Go away, have fun. And so my parents leave, and next thing you know, what happens? I get distracted. I'm not paying attention. And I turn around, and our big white dog is having a big brown mess in the middle of the living room floor. Let's just say I knew I was in trouble, and I was determined to try to fix it myself. Isn't that what we do? When we get caught in a sin, when we do something bad, we just try to fix it ourselves. And so I'm like, okay, I don't have to fess up, I can fix this. So I dig through the cleaning supplies underneath the kitchen sink, and I scrub it once, I scrub it twice, I scrub it a third time, and would you believe it, the stain actually came out. But just because the stain came out didn't mean the smell came out. I thought I was in the clear, but the minute that my parents walked into the house, they went, whoa, wait, what is that smell? And I had gotten accustomed to the stench that I was living in. But they smelled it the moment that they walked through that door. And I was like, smell, I don't know what you're talking about. And my mom was running to me, what's the smell? Where's that coming from? Is that me? And so I decided to keep my distance. I didn't want them asking me too many questions. So I wasn't gonna make eye contact. I was just gonna back away slowly. And before I knew it, I was really far away. I felt really distant. I put this distance between us because of something that I'd done. And isn't that what sin does to us? It makes us feel alone. It separates us from the people we sin against, and it separates us from God. Until I fessed up. And I told them, okay, this is what happened. And guess what? They forgave me. I mean, sure, they weren't too happy they had to replace all the living room, the carpet in the living room, rather. But they forgave me. And if my parents were so willing to forgive me, so quick to forgive, God is even quicker to forgive. He is just waiting for us to fess up. Because he wants to be close to us. He desires to have that relationship fixed. He doesn't want you to be left alone. He wants to be near you. And so he invites you into his love, into this invitation to accept him. It's a free gift because when Jesus came and he died, he didn't stay dead. He rose to life with the power to forgive us of any sin, no matter how big or how small. And he offers that forgiveness for absolutely free. It is a gift. But I don't know about you, I have never received a gift I haven't had to reach out and accept. I mean, even on my birthday, I have to open the presents I'm given. It'd be like, okay, right now, if I had a gift hiding here it is. If I had a gift and I decided I want to give it to mama pajamas, what would you do?
Open it.
Okay, so you want to open it, but how would you open it?
My hand.
Would you just sit there?
No.
Would you come up here to get the gift? Yeah. You would come up to accept it. Good job. You can take a seat, but sweet mama dreams to you tonight. Just like she came up here to accept that free gift, we have to accept the free gift that God is giving us. And how do we do that? Well, the Bible tells us. We're going to read one more verse tonight. Would you read this aloud with me? It says, if you openly declare that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Romans 10, verse 9. That says to declare and to believe. We must believe in our heart, and we must declare with our mouths. Just like Ella did in that letter that she wrote to our ministry. How she was planning to be baptized, how she was so excited to share with others that she'd become a Christian. She was speaking the truth. She was believing it for her life. That's all we have to do, to accept it. We just have to believe it and declare it. And that free gift of salvation is ours. I can still remember the night that I said to Jesus, Jesus, I want to follow you. I was 9 years old, and I was laying in my bed. It was really dark at night. It was so dark that even with my eyes open, it was pitch black, and I could not fall asleep. I knew of all the sin and all the bad things that I'd done, and up to that point, I really didn't think it had bothered me. But in that moment, every single last thing, no matter how small, suddenly came to the forefront of my mind. It was just racing through my head, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Because God was not going to let me fall asleep until he had a relationship with me that night. And so I asked my mom and dad, I said, Mom, Dad, you've told me about Jesus. Would you pray with me so I can accept him? Because I know I need his forgiveness. And in that moment, as I prayed to him, a peace just washed over me. And those thoughts that were spinning, they were stilled. And those sins which I was once obsessing over, I knew they were forgiven. I have been walking in that freedom, in that peace, ever since. Have you ever had a moment like that? A moment where you can remember declaring that Jesus is the Lord of your life? In just a moment, we're going to give you and your mom, or the adult that you came with, a little bit of time to talk. And I want you to tell each other if you've ever had a moment like that. And if you have, can you just celebrate that together? Like, that is awesome. That is so cool that you have declared that Jesus is Lord of your life. And just remember the joy of that. Tell him where you were and what it was like. But if you haven't, if you've never had a moment like that, or maybe you just can't remember, maybe you're not quite sure, maybe you and your mom or the adult that you came with will decide that tonight is a night that you can always remember. We're going to have some volunteers that are going to come up. They can come up right now and stand at the front of the stage. And these volunteers will be so happy to pray with you and tell you what it means to follow Jesus Christ. So if at any point in your conversation with your mom, you decide to walk forward together, these volunteers are just waiting to talk to you. Stacy from our True Girl team is going to come and she's going to sing a song over you. But before she does, we're going to give you some time. Without any singing, no production, just some time to talk and to share with each other about the beauty of accepting Jesus' free gift. And when Stacy starts to sing, that will be your cue to come forward if tonight is that night. Go ahead. Holy Spirit nudging you, telling you that God loves you and He wants that relationship with you tonight. There's never going to be a perfect moment. You're never going to be good enough. That's the point. We need Jesus. We just want to be sure that you have that relationship with Him. So come forward anytime, or just keep talking to your mom as Stacy continues to sing.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to Him belong. They are weak, but He is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so.
Girls, we want to hear you sing that, so I want to get you started, but I want you to lift your voices and declare that truth that Jesus loves you.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to Him belong. They are weak, but He is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so.
And we're going to give you a little more time to have that conversation with God to see if tonight is the night to make that decision. But I want you to listen to the words of this next song, and maybe they'll be just what you need to hear to help you make that decision. If you already know Jesus, that's awesome. Just worship Him with us.
There is a truth older than the ages. There is a promise of things yet to come. There is one born for our salvation. Jesus. There is a light that overwhelms the darkness. There is a King that forever reigns. There is freedom from the chains that bind us. Jesus, Jesus, who walks on the waters, who speaks to the sea, who stands in the fire beside me. He roars like a lion, He led as the lamb. He carries my healing in His hand. Jesus.
It's 11:45 p.m. Let me see you groove.